working title of my dissertation is Open Space Utilization of Danube Inner City Watersides in Vienna, Budapest and Belgrade. So I will start with general background information about the Danube and its geography, with emphasis on its metropolises and their urban open space through regional and local projects and initiatives, as well as social uses of the inner city river banks in researched cities. Almost 3,000 kilometers long, the Danube is the second longest river in Europe after Volga and connects 10 countries and covers approximately 1,000 kilometers of state borders. More than 80 million people of different nations and cultures live within the Danube River basin, and 92 cities lie directly on the river. 4 of them are national capitals, and 3 are considered to be metropolises with over 1 million inhabitants. Vienna, Budapest and Belgrade, each with approximately 1.73 million inhabitants, are the largest cities situated directly on the Danube. In these metropolises and capitals concentrate the intercultural life, the main criterion for decision-making regarding the research sections on the Danube. Vienna's inner city core was not situated close to the Danube at the beginnings of its existence and for centuries later. Therefore, Danube consists today of Old Danube, New Danube, Danube Island, Danube Canal, also called Little Danube, and is the only branch of the Danube passing through the inner city center, accompanied by 32 bridges, and together with the whole historical inner city listed as UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2003. Danube in Budapest, on the other hand, totally integrated in the urban landscape because of its historical bridges. It is also called the Bridge City. Thanks to its historically and culturally important riverbanks, bridges included, it was for a long time the first Danube metropolis to be listed as UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987. Whereas Danube divides, the city bridges play important role as connecting points between Buda and Pest. Other than Budapest, Belgrade is a metropolis on the river Danube and Sava and is still getting used to living on 2 great European or regionally great and important rivers, without being completely integrated in its city watersides. Urban open space, especially historical city centers, deal today with tackling themes as rehabilitation, modernization of means of transport, pedestrian traffic in each of the research metropolises. General master plans for urban development focus on open space as space for leisure, recreation, communication, entertainment, and education. With the beginning of the 21st century, the Viennese Danube Canal as the inner city Danube, as mentioned, the Little Danube, was targeted as a new urban development area. The Urban Development Plan 2005, Step 05, represents a master plan with particular concentration of Danube Canal and its potential for leisure, recreation and entertainment. With the aim to make the Danube Canal a place for water and peace lovers, but also a meeting point for cultural scene, the master plan distinguishes the urban open space for Danube Canal and its use requirements that emphasize the social utilization. Similar projects started in 2003 with the Budapest City Development Concept that aims to protect the green areas and the banks of the Danube by modernizing the living spaces on the river and around it. In social context of utilization of Danube water sites, it is considered as important as development of public spaces of leisure, education, and communication in order to build perceivable areas of identity. Through small and focused interventions along the Danube watersides, the relationship between places and river, as well as chain of social life, leisure entertainment is supposed to strengthen the unique Danube perception in Budapest. The prominent position of Belgrade at the confluence of, as mentioned, Sava into Danube is emphasized as the most remarkable spatial appearance and characteristic of the city. One of the most important town planning aims in Belgrade's development plan has always been to use natural and architectural values of the city in order to emphasize and develop its beauty, cultural heritage, and ambiences. The concept of spatial organization of the city reposes on preservation of the historical character and promotion of cultural monuments, natural sections of the riverbanks with historically confirmed and aesthetically appreciated built landmarks. Since the beginning of the 21st century, there have been attempts to sanitize the public image of the Danube watersides around special public landmarks, whether they are natural element, the river itself, architecture, art, or a place within common used spaces. The landmarks as recognizable structures are in an open space are suitable for connecting the urban open space with their perception and social utilization. The research location of Danube watersides in Vienna, Budapest, and Belgrade is located on approximately 3-kilometer long passage within the inner city riverbanks with different topography infrastructure, but same goal of maximizing the utilization in social terms. In Vienna, the 3-kilometer long section of the inner city Danube Canal begins with Peace Bridge, Friedensbrücke, and goes along the old historical center to the Francis Bridge, so Francisbrücke. It consists of several inner city canal landmarks such as glass pavilion flags, Ring Tower, Otto Wagner's barrage, and Urania with Unica Tower across the canal. These landmarks are culturally and physically affected by the Danube Canal urban perception, and as such they represent an inseparable part of the social utilization within the urban open space. The Danube watersides in Budapest, researched in this study, are almost 3-kilometer long. The passage begins at the Market Bridge and ends with Liberty Bridge. It represents the densest part of the city center, accompanied by a combination of administrative and residential buildings. The Chain Bridge represents the landmark itself. It's approximately in the middle. It is important in the urban perception of Budapest because of the fact that it is the first bridge to connect Buda and Pest, and its social utilization is distinguished by summer festival as established social event. Another landmark is Danube Promenade that extends between the Elizabeth Bridge and Chain Bridge on the Pest side. In Belgrade, on the other hand, the right Danube waterside section researched in the study is almost 3-kilometer long. The section begins with Sava Bridge and Ušće Tower, just before the confluence of the Sava in the Danube, goes along the confluence and ends at the beginning of Belgrade port on the Danube side. The most important landmark, Belgrade Fortress, stands for an entity of several small landmarks within Kalemegdan Park, monument of Belgrade winner. On a regional level, there are many organizations and initiatives that aim to improve the healthy and honest discussions on the Danube. The initiative, called Danube Day, can be differentiated in the Danube River region as transnational urban dialogue. The Council of Danube Cities and Regions is a bridge that links European, regional, and local institutions to the academic, business, financing networks, and other representatives of the civil society. Kulturkontakt Austria is a cultural center for education, culture, and arts, with special geographic interest, among other countries, in Austria, Hungary, and Serbia. On international level, the main focus of the Hungarian initiative, Dunalog Cooperation Network, is to make the position of the forming functional Danube region stronger, helping to establish relationships between Danube cities by creating the regional networks and activating knowledge transfer. A newly established Flow Festival is also an Austrian initiative with main focus on conversation for culture and science. The idea of flow is to discover and find new ways of expressing ideas and feelings, to organize a new network of artists and scientists that brings the countries and cities of the Danube region closer together. It is interesting to note that on a local level, there is a Danube festival and is present in all three Danube metropolises with completely local topics and different focuses. In Vienna, it is Donau Canal Treiben. In Budapest, it is Danube Carnival, and in Belgrade, Dunav Fest. The most dense utilization of Watersides is in summer months, when the weather allows it to enjoy the freshness of the breeze on the river. Numerous bars with beach flair are accompanied by summer festival and its rich musical program on the Viennese Danube Canal. The rocky watersides turn into crowded festive spaces of good mood and atmosphere. Similar feeling can be recognized on the Chain Bridge in Budapest from spring until late summer, especially on Sundays when it becomes a pedestrian zone. The local people gather on one side of the bridge and go for a relaxed walk over it, using it as a promenade. Meanwhile, it has become a touristic attraction as well. In June, Belgrade's Havamala turns into experimental design laboratory with presentations, talks and exhibitions on the watersides as well as in the inner city. The long side from the Branko Bridge towards the confluence turns into an experimental exhibition space with numerous interested local visitors. Various festivals on watersides, public talks and educational activities honor the river, its cultures and further progress in connecting through history and mutual understanding on a regional level. Another important activity is a leisure activity. In urban environments such as Danube watersides are seen as donation of life meaning and social status. On the other hand, there is a recreational activity, so a recreational use of the watersides. The existing bicycle paths along the Danube historical watersides in all three of the researched metropolises and the pedestrian zone fulfill the recreational function and connect the individuals with the river. Urban open space in Danube metropolises in general is going through transition as a consequence of social and global changes. Present problems of planning and designing the urban open space on the selected Danube watersides in extremely important and valuable inner city core and getting back to the rivers remain partly still unsolved. Open space should be designed and produced as place of transnational communication, transformation of ideas in culturally diverse forms and designs, and it is used so on the watersides, but not enough. There is a need to save urban and cultural differences and restore regional cultural heritage through cooperation, exchange of know-how and experience within the Danube region. The important tools for obtaining that goal are social and cultural assets, creative industries, artists, and intercultural dialogue. The Danube River region is to be seen as a unifying link between Central and Southeastern Europe, embracing all and new cultures and cultural lifestyles. Thank you.
And then what I found interesting, and I would like to know if it has any impact, that Belgrade has just one riverbank, right? Because I saw that on the maps you showed that the rest is like the natural kind of site, isn't it? If you kind of saw any significant difference of having a river accessible from both sides versus just the one side access, if it kind of intensify the activity. And then the second thing, if there's how direct is the access to the water in these cities? If you can compare that.
Okay, yeah. The other part of the river of the Danube is natural, and it's a kind of it's in a protected natural area, and behind it there are kilometers without any residential area. Because after that comes another city that is rather close to Belgrade, but it's still not Belgrade anymore. So in that way, the use of the land, there is no use. There are only some river cottages, so on the river, but they are private, so it's not. There is no use, and there is no infrastructure. There are no paths. There is nothing. On the other side, of the river, well, the access, of course, is there in all three of the metropolises. But the most developed in the terms of infrastructure is, of course, Vienna, and is an example how Budapest started developing, and how Belgrade should. So it's like when you go along to the Danube, it's unfortunately degrading in the terms of access to the river directly, to the waterside.
Because from the pictures you showed, I had the impression that it's all sort of like gated, fenced, and built walls.
Not really. It's like that in Vienna, but there are so many stairways that connect the street with the waterside. Yeah.
And then one more question: is there? I know that it exists in Vienna, but I'm not sure about Budapest and Belgrade. What about the city beach?
Yeah, that's a new concept of using the watersides in Vienna, especially. In Budapest, less, and in Belgrade there is no. As I said, there is still no. I hope that it will change. Yeah, but that's the leisure part of the utilization. So it's more connected to the gastronomical offer, and yeah. So they are like semi-public, not completely, because the beaches belong always to are kind of a garden of cafes. So they are.
So you have to pay to get there.
You don't have to pay, but you have to drink something.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, that's in Vienna. There are several beaches.
Really public.
Yeah, they are not. Yeah, after the cafes closed, not really. Some of them are, so you can sit on the sand, even though it's late in the night. Nobody will tell you to go, but still it's not as attractive as when it's open, because people want to have a drink on the waterside. It's not like they are forced to do that in order to enjoy the sand and the beach, you know.
And last question: why did you pick exactly these cities?
Well, they are the only three metropolises on the Danube, and that's the main criteria, because they are the biggest, largest, and they wanted to. I was trying to start from the largest cities, and my aim in future would be to concentrate on the intercultural dialogue between other cities, not only these three, but I had to narrow the research.
I had the impression that Bratislava is metropolis as well.
Well, it was at the beginning. I wanted to include, and I included. So at the very beginning, I included Bratislava as well. But for a PhD project, it was kind of too demanding. And on the other side, yeah, it's not a metropolis. It's completely different. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe a silly question. Danube is huge, wide, and
Yeah.
maybe a river with a strong stream. Is it possible to swim?
In all three cities, yeah. There are, so in Vienna, not in the Danube Canal. It's forbidden. And on the other hand, it's not, the water quality is not good enough for swimming. And it's not deep enough. It's only 1 meter and 50 at maximum 2 meters deep. A canal, not the Danube. So as I mentioned, so in Vienna there is old Danube, new Danube. They are all branches of the Danube, and they are all Danube, but it's like divided. And on old and new Danube there are locations where you can swim. Yeah. In Belgrade, yeah, as well. Not in the inner city, no, unfortunately not. In Budapest, neither in the inner city. All the locations are away from the city core. Yes, they are. Still. And but not only that, the people are somehow detached by the fact that water quality is not good enough. And even though perhaps it's still like the notion of the possibility that it's not good enough, nobody would jump in.
Actually, water quality is good enough for swimming. It's just the river is too fast, the stream is fast, and there's no access. There, the water quality is good. Like, it's good for swimming. It's not
especially
water. Of course, you shouldn't drink it probably, but you can swim in it.
Yeah, but what happens if you drink of it?
Yeah, well, that's
So swimming and
If you drink and you can still swimming, it's nice, but you have to be careful.
yeah, but for swimming in Belgrade precisely there are so Sava River is more used for it, and there is artificial kind of it's not a lake, it's like a branch of the Sava, where the water quality is controlled on a daily basis in summer months, and that's the favorite place for people to go to for a swim. And Danube is more like for fishing friendly people when it comes to sports. Yeah. Especially on the confluence, because it's always like the meeting point, and there. So yeah.
All these events, yeah, it's very impressive. And all these events are the results of one joint program of 3 cities. So do the cities have one program where they collaborate and create event within some
On the boat.
yeah some program path, or that is separated initiatives?
So Danube festivals are exclusively local, and they are not they are sponsored and supported by the city, but they are not organized by the city. It's always some other organization, that cultural or similar.
There exists one program where
There are many programs on a regional level, yeah.
but how they overlap or not overlap? I mean, a lot of events, yeah. Of course, they want to attract as possible much people. Do they know that in this city now is happening this event, and in this city this event? So how they communicate with each other? Do they promote each other events?
Yeah, they promote. But they are not promoting in the whole Danube region, but only in the cities where it happens, because Flow Festival, for example, it takes place in different every year in a different city, and it has somehow it is local and regional as well.
And the folk, so it's just in
Sorry?
in Vienna, this folk festival.
Flow Festival. No, it's originally Austrian initiative, and it started as Austrian initiative, but it took place, for example, last year in Russe in Bulgaria, so in the town on the Danube, yeah. And each year it's different town on the. So these three metropolises are only the example of how it could be on a regional level. So, and in smaller towns as well. Of course, there are extremely many festivals in other cities, but I showed you only those who take place in. Yeah, or are initiated by the countries or cities.
Okay, thank you again.